governor of Washington State calls Spokane a war zone from the fires still very much blazing there. He made the point that much of the country does not seem to realize these fires have flattened city neighborhoods, and I want to show you what he's talking about here. This is the neighborhood around West Holyoke Ave. You can see this is what it looked like before the fires. Now look at what it's like now. You can see what the smoke and the flames did to that neighborhood, simply flattening it. One other neighborhood, West Pinecliff Court, again, before and now after. You can see just that entire area flattened. You can see a fire truck right here. The city of Spokane has a population of 250,000. There have been evacuations now for some 65,000 people, so a quarter of the city. Even if you expanded the county, the population is 600,000, so that would be 10%. Huge numbers of evacuations. One more neighborhood, North Parkview Lane. Again, before, look at all the beautiful houses here. Now look at, I'm going to X that out. Now look after. You can see, again, the fires there just completely flattening it. Hundreds and hundreds of structures have been destroyed, most of them homes. So again, people don't have places to live there. This is a devastating situation.
Authorities have now arrested a man on an arson charge for one of the 3 fires that have just been tearing through the Spokane area. According to witnesses, the 37-year-old suspect was seen bending down near a grassy area close to where the fire started. And then smoke was seen shortly after that. As of right now, nearly 65,000 people have been evacuated from the fire zone. And overnight, these fires grew to more than 10,000 acres, more than 700 structures so far destroyed. And right now, it is not contained, 0% containment.
Let's go live now to CNN correspondent Marybel Gonzalez in Spokane, Washington. Marybel, what more can you tell us about this arrest?
Hi, Pamela. Yeah, well, we know that that arrest was in connection to the fire that started here, or the aftermath, I should say, of the Old Trails fire. This is a neighborhood that was impacted by that blaze. We know that the suspect is a 37-year-old man, and it actually was a witness that called the tip into law enforcement. They saw the suspect acting suspiciously. Law enforcement later returned to the scene, and they were able to determine that where that man was standing is where they believe that the fire started. Now, he was found to be in possession of waterproof matches and a butane lighter at the time. We also know that authorities have said he has a criminal record. The sheriff here in Spokane said that he's a convicted felon out of the state of Arizona and that he has a preceding arrest in a manslaughter case later for premeditated murder in Arizona as well. So we will be able to get to know more about the suspect later on as he appears before a judge later today. But right now, he is being held on a $1 million bond.
Joining me now is Dave Upthegrove. He's the Washington State Commissioner of Public Lands. Thank you for joining us. There are several fires burning at this hour in Spokane. There is extensive damage, loss of more than 700 buildings at this hour. I do want to ask you what the status is right now of all the different areas that are on fire, and how difficult it is to fight these, and how long you think this might go on.
Well, good morning. I've spent the last couple days on the ground in the city of Spokane, talking with firefighters on the front line, meeting with families, and you are correct. The devastation just breaks your heart. Hundreds of families have lost their homes. Tens of thousands of people have been displaced. Firefighters are continuing to work around the clock. Overall in the state of Washington, more than 500,000 acres have burned. We have 250,000 acres on fire right now with 17 major fires. But what has struck me most is this is ultimately a story about people. Behind every one of those burned homes is a family trying to rebuild their lives. Behind every one of those dramatic images we see is a young, exhausted firefighter who's risking everything to keep people safe. So the struggles continue here in Washington.
You, as I understand it, spoke with President Trump about what is going on here, and you're having ongoing conversations. Can you give me some sense about whether or not he has pledged help in any way?
Well, as State Lands Commissioner, I'm not the one communicating directly with the president. Our governor, Bob Ferguson, spoke with the president on Sunday to communicate the need for an emergency declaration and for assistance from FEMA. The president was, to my knowledge, gracious, understands the situation on the ground, and we look forward to working together with the federal administration.
Give me some sense of how this is compared to other fires that you have seen in your state over time. Is this the worst thing that you have seen when it comes to what's happening in Spokane at this time? Is this historically just the worst fires you've ever seen there?
The three fires that continue to burn near the city of Spokane, which is the second largest city in Washington state after Seattle, represent one of the largest tragedies in terms of impacting homes and the destruction of structures. But it is worth putting it in context. Those three fires are only 3 of 17 fires, major fires burning in this state. Those fires represent 10,000 acres burning. We have 250,000 acres on fire as we speak this morning. But one thing I would like to say is that it's moments like this really test everything that you've built before the smoke ever appears. You know, before fire season, we built a well-trained firefighting force. We pre-positioned equipment. We entered into mutual aid agreements with other states and invested in forest health. And we can't stop every fire, but preparation absolutely changes the outcome. But this is a summer unlike any we've seen in recent memory.
Just lastly, you know, fires are burning hotter, they are starting earlier, they are bigger across the West, and now we're seeing similar images out of Europe as well. Do you have what you need to deal with the change in the climate, especially when it comes to these fires?
Yeah, well, climate is part of the story. There is no doubt that climate change is contributing to increased fire risk. It's creating forest health problems in Washington state, and the scientists are pretty clear that it's impacting weather patterns. I do have hope that we have what it takes. You know, despite all the heartbreak, what gives me hope is the people. You know, disasters have a way of really reminding us what really matters. I see firefighters, emergency managers, volunteers, utility crews, neighbors showing up every single day to help complete strangers. You know, that's the story I'm seeing on the ground. So I want people to remember that while these fires are dominating the headlines, there are thousands of people working through the night to protect communities they've never even lived in. They don't ask who you voted for. They don't ask where you came from. They simply show up because someone needs help, and help keep showing up, and that gives me hope. We have 5,000 people fighting these fires, equipment and personnel from more than a dozen states, from Alaska to Florida. So we ought to be really proud of these first responders in Washington state.